Hello and welcome to the Nave Arcade podcast, a little show where we discuss magical and mundane practices to help you believe in new possibilities about yourself and the world around you. I am your host Maria, also known in various spaces as Upward Bow. So today's episode is a little more nebulous, but I feel like that's the energy of the time. Lots of feelings of uncertainty. Now, I've been trying to prioritize the contents of this podcast as a whole as something more evergreen, but I don't really want it to be completely devoid of what's going on right now. I originally wanted this week's episode to be about something else, and I drafted that and I made notes, but I am recording this in the last week of January, and I think that context is important. And that context is important historically because things do feel bleak, especially for those of us who are in marginalized communities. I do wish that I could tell you that this is an episode where I provide an adequate set of resources for all the ways we can galvanize our communities and protect our people, but unfortunately, I do admit that is out of my depth. And those ways are going to look different for everyone depending on what they have on their plate, their position in society, the needs of their local communities, etc., etc. However, what I can say is that we can do it. We do have the power and the capability to show up in our unique way. It is going to take time to figure out, but now is exactly the right time to do it. I'm also recording this on the new moon in Aquarius and the Lunar New Year, and it is the year of the snake, and I don't want us to waste our wiliness or our cleverness. We will move in the shadows slowly, carefully making our way through the refuse and the noise together. The new moon in Aquarius in particular gives us a chance to work on shifting the power in a way that benefits the collective as a whole. Aquarius thinks big and beyond the current moment. Sometimes we mistake that aloofness of Aquarius for disinterest, but it is necessary when you're trying to elevate everything and everyone. You cannot get stuck in the muck of the present. You have to put aside some emotional involvement if you want to keep doing the work to push us forward. In tarot, Aquarius corresponds with the star, and she is all about hope. She is all about renewal. In the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith deck, we see a naked woman in a clear field and meadow holding 2 jugs of water, pouring back into a pool of water and into the earth. She is here to nourish it back to life. If you can't feel that energy from the astrology right now during Aquarius season, I invite you to hold the imagery of the star in your mind. If you pull cards, get out your deck, get out all of your decks, and pull all the iterations you have of her so that you can get a broad idea of what she could mean. And as you look at her, I want you to remember that you can't pour from an empty cup. So I also invite you to think about whether or not you have an empty cup right now. Are you feeling resourced? Do you even feel like you know where your cup is? Because personally, I've also been feeling that disorientation for a while. Feeling lost about where to start. And as I've been clawing my way through all the confusion, I have been leaning on my creative work. Last week, I talked about creativity being a process of uncovering. And now I want to emphasize that creativity is also a highly effective coping mechanism. So creative hobbies and crafts are pretty much the only areas in my life right now where I do feel like I can express control and agency because it comes with relatively low stakes. I've been knitting again, because crafting something with my hands feels really good. And it makes me feel powerful, which sounds silly, but honestly, there's not a lot in my life where I feel like I'm making a difference. But stitch by stitch, I can see a very tangible consequence of what I'm doing. And if I fuck up, like I said, it's low stakes. A mistake isn't the end of the world. And if I have to rip it back a few inches, it is really upsetting and annoying, but it's a stress that I can handle. And it also preps me for bigger disappointments. In human design, I'm a 3-5 profile, and this isn't a human design lesson, so if you don't know yours, that's fine. But basically, a 3-5 profile is known as an experimental learner who benefits from trying new things and sharing their observations and conclusions with the world or with other people. And that sounds super fun when it's said like that. But in practice, the less charitable description of 3-5s, like myself, remember, is that we're kind of meant to fail a lot. We are here to try all of the things and learn all of the lessons about what worked and what didn't so that we can impart that wisdom to other people. And it is not fun. It hurts. It feels embarrassing. And I have a lot of Capricorn placements, so that's probably what that is. But it feels bad. but it is still a learning opportunity. I can't deny that. Everything that has not gone right is a chance for me to learn how to improve. And there has been a lot of things that have not gone right, a lot of things that did not go exactly the way I wanted them to go, or at all like I wanted them to go, in work, in creativity, in life, in friendships, in relationships, etc. Things go bad. And that trial and error aspect is actually part of anyone who has a 3 profile. The 5 part is where you do the sharing. But anyway, like I said, it's important to learn what that sense of failure, and that's in quotation marks, what that feels like. Because when you can recognize it, you can start preparing yourself for how to bounce back from it. And that's why I emphasize the low stakes aspect of having hobbies. I suggest this for everyone. It doesn't matter if you have a 3-5. I just wanted to bring that up as a personal note because that's part of my thing. I have to talk about what worked for me and what didn't. So if there's anything that nourishes you creatively right now, please, please, please make time for it. And maybe that's drawing, maybe that's writing, maybe it's music, maybe it's dance, maybe it's just coming up with headcanons for your favorite video games. And if that's true for you, please tell me what those games are and what your headcanons are, and I will believe them. Do not get stuck with a canon. Have fun. Now more than ever, especially if you are part of a marginalized community, you need to have something that brings you joy. You need to have something that makes you feel like you have control in your life. We all need something small in our lives that we can control, and something that is small enough that when it doesn't go right, it is okay. And I know money is tight for a lot of people, myself included. So when I say hobbies, I encourage you to revisit like what you've done before, especially the ones that you already have supplies for. Like during lockdown in 2020 and 2021, you probably have something that you haven't touched. And like I said, I'm knitting right now, but I did not pick up knitting during lockdown. I picked up knitting like 15 years ago. So I have a ton of yarn that I have yet to go through, and I'm going through it. I've been stash driving. If you are in the Nave Arcade Discord, I posted a photo of that project, and hopefully I can get that done. But speaking of Discords, that is another element I want to touch on, especially with Aquarius. Aquarius is about the collective, and that means community. So if you have something creative and fun, please share it with people. And it doesn't have to be me. Please share it with people who you trust, who will encourage you and will help you hold on to that excitement, and who will also help you push through any sense of failure. And finding those people may be difficult. Maybe you really only know one person who you can trust that'll be your cheerleader, and that is okay too. I have a little fictional prose project that I'll probably only share with one person, and that is okay. I don't need it to be a big thing. You do not need to monetize your hobbies right now. That is not the time for that. Now is the time to find something that you can hold on to that is yours, that no one else can take away, and that people in your life who love you and support you will help you keep that flame going. Please hold that space for yourself. And if you have it in you, see if you can hold it for other people. It makes such a difference to have even one person who you know will be your unconditional cheerleader. And I hope that I can hold that space for other people, that I can tend to those flames in their lives and keep everything a little bit warmer than it is in the fucking dreariest timeline. I want to be a safe person for those people who have made me feel safe. And I am excited to learn about all their little amazing and weird ideas and hopes and dreams. We should all be each other's stars right now. We should all help each other clear the meadow, clear the path, and pour back into what it is we're doing. If you are looking for a way to get into the spirit of the star and Aquarius season, I do have a guided meditation for that tarot card on my YouTube channel, and that will be linked in the show notes. The first time I shared that meditation was in my tarot reader certification program, and someone was so sweet. They said it helped them connect with an ancestor, which is the biggest compliment you could have given me. So thank you, person. I don't know if that'll happen to you, dear listener, but if something does shift, I really would love to know. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider sending it to a friend who you feel might benefit from its message. And if you enjoyed the show, please consider leaving a review. It really helps out a ton. Until next time.